There's a look to the southwest along a ravine where the Taylor-Massey Creek runs through. Got someone way down there on some inline skates. And hey there, it's Friday, November 28th, 11:43 p.m. is the time. The temperature is about 2 degrees Celsius, and I'm here on O'Connor Drive, which is, well, where I am now is just north of Woodbine Avenue, or the northern end of Woodbine Avenue. And you can see way off in the distance is the CN Tower. And this is actually one of the oldest bridges in the city. It opened up back in 1932. I think it spans around 246 meters or so. And this bridge is pretty much what unlocked the neighborhood just to the north of here, which we're about to walk through. In the 1940s, it opened it up to a lot of suburban development. And this is the former borough of East York, which I guess you could say is divided in two by the Taylor-Massey Creek down below. That's a 16-kilometer long tributary of the Don River. There's a lot of wetlands and that sort of thing down below. But in this one, I'm going to be walking in a northeast direction, following the path of O'Connor here, making my way all the way up to Eglinton Avenue. And I'll have the fortunate pleasure of getting to board an Eglinton bus and heading back home to Midtown. All thanks to the Crosstown LRT not yet being open. Looks like there's a staircase over there that'll lead you down into the ravine. Let's see if there's a break in traffic. Play a little Frogger and check it out, but that might not be in the cards. Looks like I'm getting a break here. And there's a trail this will connect you to. I've done a bike ride along that trail before. We're going to head north past the Woodbine Gardens and Parkview Hills neighborhoods. And this walk will take us by some retail corridors and an old Peak Friends factory that apparently smells really good when you walk past it. We'll be walking by the side of an old bowling alley, O'Connor Bowl, that I think closed down for good in 2015. When I used to bowl at when I was a kid. And up through the Topham Park neighborhood. I've done over 3,200 videos in total on this channel, including live streams. But I haven't done this stretch of O'Connor yet. By bike or by foot in a pre-recorded video or a live stream. There's a look at a residential street here. So I think the neighborhood over on the west is known as Parkview Hills. And on the east side is known as Woodbine Gardens. And both neighborhoods grew rapidly after that bridge opened. And this will lead us into what's known as the Cookie Corridor. But just up ahead is a major east-west street, St. Clair Avenue. Although it's disconnected from what's the more well-known side of St. Clair by a ravine. To the west of here, that ravine is just east of Yonge Street. Speaking of ravines, this was an area that had a lot of industry supporting the war efforts. And after World War II ended and that bridge was built, it kind of transitioned into your typical 1940s, 1950s garden variety suburb. I think a lot of the homes in this area go for around 1.4, 1.5 million. Okay, there's an Otsu EV. That's a company where drivers rent those vehicles and then they drive them for Uber. I think they're usually Uber Black higher-end vehicles. And part of their arrangement, one of the reasons why Uber lets Otsu into the market doing that is because they are third-party owned vehicles, is that Otsu provides minivans that are equipped for those with accessibility needs, meeting that need of Uber's clients. I think they have to have a certain number of vehicles in their fleet that are accessible to be allowed to operate. I'm not sure how Lyft gets around that, or Hop. Some low-end carry-on luggage. Yeah, these are probably 1940s era homes. So this is St. Clair Avenue East. Some strip malls. It's definitely an older suburb. St. Clair O'Connor Community Center. Johnny Baker's Restaurant, Jawny. There's an odd name. Great steaks, ribs, and seafood. And this is really interesting. You've got a low-rise strip of retail on the right side, and townhomes with a parking lot facing the street on the west side. And what looks like some SpongeBob-inspired artwork on the side of the building here. pizza shop, animal clinic, EV parking. Certainly doesn't feel all that gentrified. It looks like it's probably an early 80s style development across the street. I don't think you would see it zoned like that these days. A major street, they'd probably put the building right up onto the sidewalk. I think this stretch would be a lot nicer if there were retail on both sides. Kind of loses that Main Street look and feel. Nostalgia Coffee Company. That's the Canadian Macedonian place. They got a Domino's. A place called Funky Clippers. It is windy. Looks like this was probably retail at one point. They've covered up the windows. Won't lie, it's not the prettiest of communities. As we get to Curity Avenue. Pedestrians, obey your signals. I guess they've had issues with people just crossing here. Apparently this was named after Senator Frank P. O'Connor. And believe it or not, he was the founder of the Laura Secord Chocolate Company. Pottery classes. Gianni's. What is Gianni's? A Bab and Co. Passion meets tradition. Oh, Kebab and Co. Momo. That's what you gotta love about Toronto. You're in a community like this and you can get some Momo. Although someone was playing SimCity and just spammed these apartment blocks all over the area. I don't want to jump the gun, but this kind of has the hallmarks of public housing. The way it's laid out. Kind of minimal landscaping on the property. Although maybe not. There's an apartment for rent sign over there. There's a Harvey's coming up. I'm just going to see where the Topham Park neighborhood begins. Let me look this up. I originally planned to do this walk in reverse. I was going to start up at Eglinton. I think we're a few blocks from that. I was originally going to start at Eglinton and walk south. I decided rather than taking the Eglinton bus over to Eglinton, I would just take the subway down to Bloor Young and subway over to Woodbine Station. Recorded a walk north. So everything I tried to remember for recording this one is kind of in reverse. It was a weird place. Coffee and donut. 4C. Does that say roast chicken? Cold corner? Real deal grilled $4.75 burger. Dinner for two burgers and donuts. Seems quite busy in there. Turkey with beef bacon, $5.99. Hey, affordable eats, that's a rare thing these days. There's a Harvey's, there's a Swiss Chalet just north of there, which are both owned by the same company. This store is operated by sovereign people on sovereign land. What does that even mean? The Black Bear Pub. O'Connor's Meat Market. And I think this is the Peak Freens factory. It's owned by Mondelez. We've got more of these apartment blocks just spanned on this side of the street. That was originally established back in 1949. And the street it's on, well, the one that goes east-west, was named after the Biscuit District in London, UK. And they make Oreos there, Christie crackers, and those delicious Peak Freens. And they've invested in that plant somewhat recently. Oh, I can smell it now. It smells like sugar wafting through the air. Maybe that's what's being vented out of those pipes over there. But it employs about 600. And newly renovated 2-bedroom and 1-bedroom apartments. Oh boy, does this smell good. Mondelez International Snacking Made Right. I think that's an American food conglomerate. It was a spin-off from Kraft Foods back in 2012. Oh man, that's got to raise property values alone. Whoops. I didn't realize my camera was pointing way up in the air. As I was saying, if I don't cut that part out of the video, that's got to raise property values. That smells so good. It's got an almost Art Deco appeal to the signage in front that says Peak Frames. I could stand here and take this in all day. Ooh, pass through the area. Let me know down in the comments what you think of this. You got sick of the smell? And right here used to be O'Connor Bowl. That was built in 1952. It closed in 2015. I think they had 5 and 10 pin bowling. 5 pins, a very unique Canadian version of bowling. And it was an East End icon for quite a while. But eventually the owners sold and this property went up. I've been to O'Connor Bowl a number of times as a kid. I got my 14-pound polyurethane bowling ball drilled at O'Connor Bowl at the pro shop. I remember my dad taking me there from Long Branch Bowl just to pick that up. It was once a house of bowling. It is now a place to buy cannabis. And this is one of my common criticisms with new developments. This retail just has no character. All the storefronts look the same. They all have these small cookie cutter signs that have to conform to the design language of the building. Just completely lose all the character you get from the old fine grain retail where every storefront was pretty much a canvas. For the retailer to make the sign appear however they please. But there's a Papa John's over there and a Slayer burger. What looks like some newer condo townhomes. Get ready for a brand new Ontario place. Whoops. My gimbal doesn't want to. There we go. Let me flip this into zoom mode. There's some Ontario government propaganda over there. Side Family Dentistry. Amsterdam urban townhomes, rooftop terraces, 3 bedrooms from the 900,000s. It looks like there's a development plan for across the street where Tim Hortons would be. The street is serviced by the 70 O'Connor bus. Oh, look at this. A lot of old receivers. Santon Audio. And here's an old school strip mall. I don't really want to call this street bizarre, but I don't not want to call it that. It's just so random. I think that was due to East York zoning bylaws. East York became a borough in 1924. Although just up ahead, I'll be leaving East York and entering the old city of Toronto. Authentic Desi food, massage studio, Cheppies, inspired by Indian street food, Baytac, maybe that's another Indian place, Eagles Lounge. Some more condo townhomes up ahead. All right, so this, I believe, is Topham Park. Those are the Centennial Apartments. They look straight out of the 1960s. Yes, they have bike share all the way up here, but tough luck if you're looking to take out a bike right now. There's the O'Connor Public School on the right. Of North York. Are we in North York? Huh? O'Connor Public School, our teachers make the difference. All right, I'm gonna have to pull out Google Maps here. That looks like it was an old Midas car dealership. Oh, that is Northline Road. So just south of here is East York. Yeah, I don't think so. I'm gonna have to look that up. Cold fingers don't seem to want to work my touchscreen phone all that well right now. Rally Sports Bar and Smokehouse. Oh, wow. So I'm mistaken. We aren't in the old city of Toronto. We are in a very southeastern corner of North York. The former municipality of North York. Well, I got that wrong. Just thought that was a bit of a head scratcher. I never would have guessed I was in North York all the way over here. I guess I need to brush up on my Toronto geography a little bit. And just east of here is Victoria Park, or rather, yeah, where's Victoria Park? I think it's just west of here. No, it should be, because this street bends northeast. Victoria Park should be almost parallel to this, just a few blocks that way. I'm getting all confused. The Sultan of Samosas. Yeah, I never claimed to be a tour guide or know what the hell I'm talking about. You buy and sell bitcoins 24 hours. Yeah, you're not going to be paying an enormous spread doing it there. Probably getting ripped off 5 or 10%. Who would need 24-hour access to Bitcoin these days? Probably someone getting scammed, thinking they're paying those taxes they forgot about. Yeah, that would be Victoria Park. So Scarborough would be right over there. Little sign that says no trucks use O'Connor Drive, so people are supposed to see that from across the intersection and respond accordingly. So just up ahead is the Golden Mile. That's a World War II era corridor. There's a lot of munitions factories and other industries supporting the war efforts in this area. 50s and 60s, it transitioned into suburbs and a retail area. And we'll be heading up past the Eglinton Square Shopping Center. I did a video through there earlier in the year. That opened back in the 50s. It's one of the oldest malls in the city. At least I picked a fairly nice day to go for this one, considering it's the end of November. All right, right around the bend up here, O'Connor should start to intersect or approach Victoria Park Avenue, and then we'll be east of Victoria Park. See a proposal for a 10-story residential development there. $1 rent-a-car. Hashtag India Restaurant. It's a weird name to call your restaurant. Halal meat. There's a Service Ontario in there. So that one wasn't relocating into a Staples. A vape shop. Frog in the Crown Bar and Grill. Friday, fish and chips, $13.95. I could go there for some lunch. Tuesday, burger and fries, $10.95. There's that famous communications tower. That marks your arrival to the Golden Mile. Boy, this area sure got a lot less friendly and uninviting in a hurry. Let's cross Victoria Park here. Well, O'Connor literally just bends up to Eglinton right there. Walks alongside the Eglinton Square Shopping Center. So maybe what I'll do is I'll just keep going north up Victoria Park here to Eglinton. And I'll try to catch a bus. This would be right. Hey, there is a Crosstown tram. I was going to say this is where I would be catching a Crosstown tram, which was supposed to open 5 years ago, but is still yet to go into service. Line 6 will be opening before Line 5. That one is going eastbound, so I'm not going to get a better look at it. Westbound tram. So in a perfect world, I'd be getting on one of these. glorified streetcars. That's essentially what they are. Looks like there's a lot of people waiting for the bus over there. So we have made it to Eglinton Avenue. Most of O'Connor. I did skip the last little leg of it. There's a 24 Victoria Park bus. The Eglinton bus is relatively frequent. And one thing that sucks about cheaping out and building this LRT instead of a subway, even though they ended up costing about the same, is in the middle of winter, people are still going to be waiting on these platforms above ground. And there's still going to be delays and disruptions in service due to accidents and that sort of thing as it runs on the surface level. Alright, I'm going to cross here. Never had a chance to cross north there. Unless I wasn't paying attention. How cool would it be if I was able to jump on that and get a lift to Eglinton Station? This is the future O'Connor stop. I wouldn't really call it a station, it's more of a stop. And what's really, really stupid is those LRT trams will not have signal priority, so they're going to have to sit here and wait at red lights. Mass transit my ass, but I think it'll be just nice when the damn thing finally opens. But it's time to join the plebs and catch a bus. There we go. So I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know your thoughts and comments down below. If you wish to support what I do, there's links to my Patreon and YouTube channel membership down in the description. I've got an Instagram account at Johnny Strides, and there is a super thanks button appearing down below should you wish to say thanks that way. But I'm going to hop on that next chariot. And this camera is just about out of battery. So thank you so much, guys. Yoink.